Hello, welcome back to the Three Thumbs Up podcast. I am your hosty, Owen Beatty, and I have three thumbs. Three more, not three more than you do, because that'd be weird. No thumbs. That's not weird. Get over it! I'm here today, just coming off of watching the season finale of Rick and Morty. How do I feel? You know, um, it was it was an intense episode. No spoilers ahead. Rick fought the President of the United States. It was fun. It was fun, and the next season is going to be. The next season isn't going to be out for a long time, which makes me quite sad. Me, being a nerd, a very sad nerd, I did not get into Rick and Morty until about a couple months ago, and then I binge watched every season. I binge watched the hell out of every season. Because I'm a nerd and that show is the greatest. That's the only cartoon show or cartoon movie to ever make me emotional. It made me emotional. Only the only thing that can make me emotional is dogs dying in movies. Not even humans dying in movies, dogs or animals dying in movies. That's sad. Dogs are the greatest. It's sad. And to be on a more serious note here, for a few moments. There was a massive shooting in the United States yesterday. 58 people were killed by a terrorist being a United States citizen, because United States citizens can be terrorists too. It isn't just people from the Middle East. It's a huge issue, and everything happening in Edmonton. It's been an awful week. It's been a really sad week. Uh, Thoughts go out to all the families affected by these massive tragedies. Just don't let their spirit go. That's what I have to say. Don't, just because they're gone doesn't mean they're forgotten. Just remember them, just celebrate their lives. That's the way they would want it. And another sad thing to say. I want to get over all the sad things to start this episode. NHL broadcaster, a very amazing broadcaster, Dallas Dallas Stars television announcer who joined in the 2015-2016 season, Dave Strader, died Sunday at the age of 62. Friggin' cancer. God friggin' dang it. I'm all the 62, taken way too soon. Uh, in his career, he had an Emmy nomination, which is incredible. Uh, it's just sad. He was an inspiration to me. That's what I strive to be in life. He's he's a legend in his own rights. He's incredible, and I remember him coming back to commentate, and that was really special. Dallas Stars players raising their sticks at the end of the game for him. It's really sad. He spent 11 years as the television voice of the Detroit Red Wings 1985 to 1996. That's a long time to be commentating. He also called games for Florida, Arizona, and then he joined NBC in around 2011. He's done Winter Classics, Olympics. He's had a lot of career accomplishments. And thoughts also go out to his family. He will be missed. He is very special. And like I said before, just because he is gone, he has a long legacy that can be shared for decades down the road. His voice may not be present, but you can still hear it. It's one of those voices you can't really forget. Wow, I'm depressing. The first 6 minutes of this, other than Rick and Morty, have been very depressing, and I have something to say about that. 2 words. Jaromir Jagr has signed with an NHL team! Just the Jaromir Jagr part. The other words, they don't count. 2 words. Jaromir Jagr has unofficially signed with the Carolina. Why would he sign with Carolina? He signed with the Calgary Flames, dang it. What an acquisition. Holy moly. Day 879 of the Jaromir Jagr watch. He is officially signed with another NHL team. Isn't it incredible? It's woo! It's woo! This is the 800th team he has played for. Crazy. Jaromir Jagr agreed to terms on a $1 million contract with the Calgary Flames today. I was in school and I was scrolling through Twitter and I'm like, no. And then I saw it was in a very official Twitter account. And then Sportsnet said it. I'm like, this has to be real. Oh, oh, I gotta draft him in my hockey pool now. It's a definite. He's gonna be drafted by me. Because I'm taking Jaromir Jagr. I don't care. Jaromir Jagr is gonna be on my team, and I would have loved for him to be on the Montreal Canadiens. This is a Montreal Canadiens centered podcast, but I like taking a run at the entire NHL because the NHL is important in my life. How many teams has he played for? 8 billion. I didn't think he was going to come to a Canadian market, but I guess he finds some positives in Calgary. I do too. It's a young team. They need a right winger, and he can play right winger. He can play left or right. They're not very sure down the right side. They have a great center core with Monahan. Someone else. They have a great left side with Goudreau, Kachuk. Oh, I forgot Cinnamon. Sam Bennett. He's pretty good. He's gonna sure up. He's gonna sure up on that right side. I see him slotting in at the second or first line. Second line, probably. Because they have Frolik, who did great last year. So, second line minutes for Jaromir Jagr, and you're paying him $1 million with $1 million bonuses included for a 45-year-old, which I've been losing it for summer. I'm like, I was distraught at how nobody had signed Jaromir Jagr since July 1st. He left Florida. Why did he leave Florida? Maybe he was tired of Florida. He knew how bad they're going to be this year because they're going to be bad this year. And earlier this week, or late last week, Jaromir Jagr had been quote-unquote talking to the St. Louis Blues. Not talking, I guess He might have been talking, but St. Louis had lost one of their players, uh, Fabry, for he's gone for this entire season. Good, good and talented young player. That really sucks for St. Louis. Losing losing a young guy like him. Is St. Louis down on the spot down in a spiral this year? Possibly. It's shake-up time. And poor Fabry, during the World Juniors, he was taken out and couldn't play the gold medal game because he was hurt. Missed that, got the gold medal, but I'm sure in his eyes he didn't think he earned it. Last season he was injured, missed most of the season, and recurring injuries, he's going to miss the entire 2017-2018 season with the St. Louis Blues. That really does suck for him, because I don't like St. Louis. But I know a young talented player when I see one, and he's one of them who just hasn't had the chance to be one, with multiple injuries in his career really taking a toll on him on him probably mentally too. And St. Louis, if they could have got a guy like Jaromir Jagr, he would have really bolstered their offensive core, slotted third line. If you put Jaromir Jagr on any third line, you're a good team. And I had been reading some comments on reports that Jagr was going to sign in St. Louis. And from St. Louis Blues fans' points, or some fans, probably not all of them, they didn't want to see an old guy make the lineup instead of young guys or one of the players that they had just drafted this year. I don't see all the hate with Jaromir Jagr. He's a fantastic player for his age. You can't prove me wrong. He might be slower, but you see what he did in Florida, a mediocre Florida team this past year, with 16 goals and 30 assists. 46 points for a 45-year-old. A goal a year of his, not a goal a year, that'd be a lot of goals for a 45-year-old. A point a year for his existence. He played all 82 games last year. And knock on wood, he's a workhorse. He plays when he needs to play. He always plays. He doesn't take a game off just because he's old. He wants to prove to the young guys again, like he's been doing for the past 10 years, or 7 years, or however long people have been calling him old. Yeah, oh, oops, something just fell. That's not good. My house is making sounds. Jaromir Jagr has been old for a decade. People call you an old NHL player when you get up to about 34, right? 34 is the age where people are like, well, they're gonna drop off soon. It's probably the end for them. Players like Henrik Lundqvist, Luongo, and all those older players still have a hockey IQ level, an above average hockey level IQ. And Jaromir Jagr has one of the highest. He has all NHL players have a dial. All of them, even the ones that aren't very good, even the ones that are fourth line, Martinson, uh, even the fourth line players, even the grittier players, they all have a dial. And elite players have another level where they can turn their dial up and up and up. Players like Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Vladimir Tarasenko, Erik Karlsson, Carey Price, to name a few, can turn it up. And Jaromir Jagr is one of those guys. He has a sixth sense when it comes to hockey. He can't see dead people, but people may think he is one. But he's gonna, I swear he is going to prove that this year. He's gonna have over 50 points. I can guarantee it. That is my prediction right here. I'm really hoping for my pool 2 that he excels. I really want him. How many times in a row does he have to prove it? He had a below average season last year, according to Jaromir Jagr's standards. 46 points, above a half point a game is fantastic for a 45-year-old. And I talk about Jaromir Jagr so much, I should just call this the Yogcast. Yeah, Yogg's cast? Ugh, I'm funny. I'll go home. He's the first time he is going to be in a Canadian market. Did he choose right? Well, he wanted to play for an NHL team. He might not be making as much as he wanted to, $1 million with $1 million in bonuses, $2 million max. I hope he excels. I think he could have been paid more, but Calgary is. Let me check their cap. Calgary. I always spell Calgary wrong. I don't know why. Does that make me a bad Canadian? Calgary cap. Google. Cap friendly. They have, after signing Jaromir Jagr, they have $2.64.790 in the bank. They're below the top hit, and they have $2 million left. So Jagr could have got away with $2 million. If you're a smart guy, you know he deserves that. And whoever signed, I guess it would be the general manager of the Calgary Flames, how he got away. He's a holy mo. Who is the manager of the Calgary Flames? Is it Benning? No, Benning's Vancouver. I know this one, but you will not figure that out today. I'm sure you already know it because you're probably smarter than me when it comes to these kind of things. I didn't do a lot of research, but I did the necessary amount. That's a steal. That's a steal of a contract. Under 2, excluding bonuses. Under 2? If all in all happens, since it is under $1,025,000, if in the event you send him down to the minors, he will be making an AHL deal. If that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain it. It is on Cap Friendly, which is a very, very useful site. I use it all the time because I'm a hockey nerd and I just love, 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 love reading on these things. It's fantastic. It really is. Where was I? Jaromir Jagr, fan-friggin-tastic. And free agents. He was a free agent. He was probably the free agent, the big free agent left, right? He was the last free agent there. Now, there are some restricted free agents. Josh Anderson is unhappy. Reports have been saying Josh Anderson plays for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let me check out his ordeal. He is 23 and he played with them last year. Let's see his point totals from last year. 2016-2017, he had 29 total points, 17 goals. Not bad. And 12 assists in 78 total games for a third line guy. Now, apparently he is unhappy with contract negotiations. He is still a free agent, a restricted free agent of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Does he get signed before the season? I don't think they're going to trade him. I think Columbus will sign him to something. I don't think you'll see any trade. Or I could be totally mistaken. He might be unhappy in Ohio, Columbus. Maybe he wants to play in a hockey city. But apparently all the Columbus fans say that Columbus is a hockey city. Is it? I have no idea. I've never been to Columbus. I would love to go to Columbus. Why wouldn't I? I've never been outside of Canada. Help me, please. Where was I? Unhappy. Unhappy. Does he want to get traded to like a Colorado? Does he think Colorado is a hockey city? Because we all know one unhappy guy in Colorado. He has the unhappy mugshot. One of the most unhappy faces, or one of the most unhappy, serious faces I have ever seen in my life. Matt Duchene. Oh, I haven't had the chance to talk about Matt Duchene because he was having some disputes with Colorado. He's had a lot, and he just wants to leave. He grew up a fan. He grew up a big fan of the Colorado Avalanche. Who wasn't? Time he was growing up playing hockey, guess who was on top of the world? Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, and the Colorado Avalanche. Every year they would do well. He was drafted by Colorado. He's played with Colorado. He's had some good years. They made the playoffs once. Remember that year when Varlamov had like that Vezina season? They were third in the NHL, and did they lose to Minnesota? I'm quite sure they lost to Minnesota in the first round. That's quite ironic since time before that. Oh, Minnesota always gets to Colorado, don't they? A Central Division rival, I would say. Colorado. Who's their rival? Joe Sakic at the moment? Joe Sakic. Joe Sakic has diminished the value immensely of Matt Duchene. He says he wants equal value for Matt Duchene. There were, let's see, New York Islanders give me Travis Hamonic and 2 firsts. Are you crazy? I mean, Calgary did it, but what did Calgary trade? Calgary traded a first, a conditional first, something else to Islanders for Travis Hamonic. It was an alright trade. It's another great defenseman to your defensive core, which never really helps the goaltender. Maybe it will this year. I was talking about unhappy. Joe Sakic. He tried too hard to get fair value, to get equal value on Matt Duchene, that he couldn't trade him, that he was asking for way too much in return. People that need Matt Duchene are people that want to win the cup, not people that are going to miss the playoffs and have a mediocre season. That's not what you get Matt Duchene for. Matt Duchene, he can play first line, second line center, but you get him to increase your scoring. He had a very, very off season with Colorado last year, but who didn't have an off season with Colorado last year? Everybody did. Their poor Twitter account was like, our top points, blah, blah, blah. This is Calvin Pickard's highest win season. They sucked last year, and that takes a lot out on a player. It takes a lot out on a player losing in and out, and you're the one getting blamed. And you just want to leave. He just wants to leave. That's all he wants to do. I don't blame him. I wouldn't, even though if I grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan, which I did, and was drafted by Montreal, and they said, nope, you can't leave. We're going to suck and treat you like dirt. He just wants to leave. He wants to go out and win. He knows Colorado will not be good anytime soon. And poor Nathan MacKinnon. Poor Nathan MacKinnon. That guy was supposed to turn the franchise around, and then they made the playoffs, and then they stunk for a couple years. And then it's this year. Does Colorado trade Matt Duchene? Does Joe Sakic finally get it right and trade him? Because he's not going to get fair value for Matt Duchene. You're just not. It's Matt Duchene, but it's Matt Duchene after a god-awful season last year. Speaking of god-awful, the Detroit Red Wings have yet to... I'm sorry, Detroit. But you're probably going to be really bad this year. But you go out and you trade for Trevor Daley. It's time for the cup run with Jimmy Howard. Jimmy Howard! Yeah, Jimmy Howard. Andre Athanasiou has yet to be signed by the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit has 0 cap space left. He had a very good season last year coming out of nowhere, drafted in the 4th round in 2012, 110th overall by Detroit. He is also 23 years old. He had also 29 total points, 18 goals, 11 assists in 64 games. Just under half a point a game. But on my TV, it seemed every late night he was always on the highlight reels with an overtime goal, a steal, the one where he crashed into Cam Ward? No, Eddie Lack, where he crashed into Eddie Lack and he won the game and blah blah blah. Detroit has yet to sign him, and they have no cap space at all. Let me check their cap. I know it isn't very good. Let me check their cap space. Oh, nope, that's wrong. Cap friendly. They are. Oh my god! Holy moly! Is Johan Franzen injured? They're gonna put him on injury reserve, right? I believe that. They're currently projected cap space on cap friendly. They are $417,474 under the cap. Over the cap floor. Over the cap floor? It says minus. It would be over. Yes. Oh, that's not. Oh, projected LTI. Yeah, okay. Okay, never mind. They're probably just at 500 in cap space. They're probably just there. And they're just gonna they're just gonna let this guy walk, or is somebody going to trade for him, or is Detroit gonna trade somebody so they can sign him? It doesn't look good for him, but there has been rumors that he has been talking to the KHL and would like to go over to the KHL. He's still young. He's had bright spots this past season. Did he play before? I think he did. But he had a very good season on a Detroit Red Wings team. Detroit, man. What do I got to say about Detroit? Oh, Detroit City. Detroit, the Red Wing, Detroit State. What else do I have to say? They had a very awful. I mean, what am I gonna say? They missed the playoffs for the first time in like 25 years. Whoop de doo. Okay, I'm not gonna cry about it. I will live to see the day. Poor Detroit, poor Detroit. They've had so many cups. Be quiet. They've gotten everything they deserved, and they're probably they signed Trevor Daley. Of course, they're going for the Stanley Cup. Why not? Trevor Daley, Trevor Daley. So, speaking of disappointment, the Montreal Canadiens finished their preseason schedule against the Florida Panthers. Yes, they won 3-1 over the Florida Panthers. It's a fun game. Fun game. It was preseason, so I watched highlights and such. But there was one game. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'll get the negative out of the way first. The Montreal Canadiens. Was it this game? Or was it the other game? I think last time I had talked on the podcast, Montreal was 6-0. Or no, not 6-0. 0-5 in the preseason play. Just trying to find that game over here. Thank you for helping me, site. Now, during a game, they were playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Montreal had gone up 2-0 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Curtis McElhinney was goalie, and then he turned it on. Jonathan Drouin had an amazing goal. I haven't really seen somebody at center ice or a Montreal Canadiens player at center ice like that for them in a long time. He just has that presence, and I know it's preseason, but it's nice to see some bright spots on this team. I'm just trying to find this. And then they played the Senators. No, they didn't. Never mind. Owen, screw you, Owen. 5-1 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs, of course. Hate me. And then it was the Maple Leafs game where they had lost 4-2. Toronto came back with an AHL roster. Of course. Oh my god. And they got their first win against Florida. They're like, hey, Florida, you did it. Preseason victory, start the parade. And then Montreal versus the Ottawa Senators on Saturday, September 30th. Last day of September. Hey, everybody, it's October. Oh my god. You can stop with the is it October yet tweets? Because hockey season is literally right around the corner. Like, I can throw a stone and hit it. Kind of thing. The Montreal Canadiens whip the Ottawa Senators 9-2. And I watched that game. That was a fun that was a fun game. That was quite a fun game. The Montreal Canadiens whipped them 9-2. First period, it was the Ottawa Senators scored like 30 seconds into the game. And I'm like, well, darn. Well, pack up your things, boys. Time to just go off and cry. But they won. They just came back and they're like, we're not having any of this. We shoot, we score. 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 I think that was 9. I don't know. Do you count? I don't care. I don't count. I don't do math. Screw you. I don't like doing math. Why are you judging me? Now, I had said something on my Twitter. If you follow my Twitter, you would have seen what I had said on twitter.com. How everybody had been saying, or when I went to volunteer for the OJHL Trenton Golden Hawks, everybody there that wasn't a Montreal Canadiens fan, they know I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, and they're like, what happened to the Montreal Canadiens? And I would obviously say, well, it's preseason. I don't care a whole lot. I mean, it's preseason. It sucks to see them not winning games. But what are you going to do? They're just going to yell at your team because they're Toronto Maple Leafs fans, of course. Oh, we got Austin Matthews. We have Mitch Marner. We have Willie Nee, the hockey guy. But see, I don't care. It's preseason. It's only for the players. So why is it that when Montreal Canadiens do great, everyone is like, it's preseason, blah. But when they do awful, they're like, where have the Habs gone? Where have the Habs gone? It double standards, people. When Montreal whooped Ottawa 9-2 in a preseason game, everybody's just like, oh yeah, it's preseason, but whatever. It's Ottawa. They didn't play their full roster, 9-2. Let me have some fun, okay? Okay. Okay. Don't do drugs, kids. Okay. Sorry, that's my favorite quote from South Park. Now, I mean everybody was on me or on Montreal. This is gonna be a rough season. But when they do well, everybody's like, it's preseason. That is what I've been saying about every team this preseason, dang it. Every team. The Vegas Golden Knights had no dollar in the Vegas Golden Knights jar. Whoop whoop. First time I've gotten it right. So, what is it with these double standards? Is it because everybody hates the Habs? I don't blame them. I have a hate-hate relationship with them too. But I'm stuck with them. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I love them. It's a hate-hate relationship. I hate management. I don't hate the players. Don't hate the players, hate the game. I hate some of the players. I don't hate. Hate is a really strong word, but I would use that word to describe my feelings toward Montreal Canadiens management and how they manage their roster. The defense is totally better than it was, last year. Now, there are some bright spots on the Montreal Canadiens roster this year. It's crazy, huh? It is crazy. The Montreal Canadiens have a roster, ladies and gentlemen, and like I had said before, I believe it was last podcast, where I had said I look at the roster and I'm like, is this it? Because last year Montreal's roster looked bulkier, it had talent. It not necessarily talent, but it had names. It had marquee names. Radulov, Markov, to name a few. Bergevin. Sorry. we don't seem as thick. We have a lot of players that can be depth players for us, but we don't have that next factor. We just don't, and it sucks. but I don't believe that we are going to be as bad as people think this season. Are we going to be worse than the Florida Panthers? I'm not jinxing anything, knocking on wood. I'm not. No, I'm not even talking about predictions about how I think the Montreal Canadiens do. I'm going to talk about every other team in the NHL because jinx the hell out of them. There is a truck. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. If you can hear Walmart, I live right behind a Walmart, and they do this at the worst times. I think they picked the exact time to load up their store when I'm recording my podcast. Thanks, Walmart. No problem, Owen. That's how I assume Walmart employees would talk. I've been there a lot. Predictions this season. NHL is right around the corner. I'm doing a hockey pool tomorrow. So let me run through my hockey pool strategy this year. Last year, I had not done a hockey pool, and this year I'm doing a hockey pool with my dad and a few of his friends. $20 admission. It's going to be a fun friggin' night. We're getting some nachos. I'm pulling up every NHL team roster, putting it on my computer, and we're going to have some fun. I have some picks, and I know my dad's not going to listen to this. I think I'm the smartest one out of the group when it comes to the NHL. I think I am. I think I know I am. I know that I think I know I am the smartest when it comes to this. And I'm not trying to be narcissistic or cocky, but I know rosters inside and out. I just do. I play a lot of NHL 18, and I'm not saying that has any effect. But do you know why I know much about? Do you know why I know about every roster in the NHL? Because I remember playing NHL 13 with one of my uncles, and I'm like, what is this? It was a while. It was okay. I've been an NHL fan my entire life, but I learn quickly. See, with other leagues, I've tried to learn about them, like the NBA. I tried to get into that. Baseball, I know a bit about baseball, and I know what's going on. Poor Blue Jays. I didn't go to a Blue Jays game this year. It's really sad. I wanted to, but we never did. I wanted to do a lot of things this year, but I started a podcast. This is the 5th episode. Yay me, there's some things to talk about. And this is the 5th week of the podcast, so, and we're not even into the hockey season yet. There's going to be so much more to talk about. Like, so much more. My last podcast I hadn't put up on YouTube because I was lazy. I'm going to be straight up. I was just a little too lazy to put it up on YouTube. But it was on SoundCloud. It was called Nothing because literally nothing has been happening. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. I'm going to act dumb when I do the hockey pool. I'm going to be like, what's going on? I'm the kid there. I am the teenage boy there, and it's going to be a bunch of adult dudes there thinking they know everything. But I know everything. I know every move they're going to make. I know they're going to pick the Stars, but it's not smart. It's not always smart. Don't pick the Stamkoses. Don't ever pick a goalie in the first round. And see, I'm doing the lottery tomorrow. Whoever gets the first pick, we put our names into this simulator. And if I get the first pick, screw you guys. Who do I pick first overall? That's a good question. Who would I pick first overall? I don't think it's a very hard question. And my first overall pick is not. It's not Carey Price. See, I don't think it is smart for a hockey pool to pick a goalie in the first 3 rounds. Who would I pick first overall? It's not a goalie, and it's not a defenseman. And it's not Connor McDavid. Is it? See, I'm having a struggle. I'm having an internal struggle, and I yell inside myself whenever I see an NHL list recently came out. Okay, it first started with EA, the NHL provider of NHL games, NHL 18, NHL, whatever, whatever. And they did their top rankings, and do you know who was number one? Connor McDavid, because he had a 100-point season and he led the Edmonton Oilers to the second round of the playoffs where they lost in Game 7 against the Anaheim Ducks. And see, do you know my reasons why Connor McDavid is not even the best player in the world yet? The best player in the world, the best hands down player in the world, is Sidney Crosby. It doesn't matter if maybe Connor McDavid is faster and younger, is going to be the next guy, is the face of the NHL maybe. In the next few years, he will be the definite face and the poster boy of the NHL. He'll be the guy. He's a Canadian boy, and it transitions off perfectly. Sidney Crosby hands the torch, who everybody is predicting is the Stanley Cup final Pittsburgh Penguins, to the Edmonton Oilers. It seems perfect. It reminds me of the Edmonton Oilers versus the Dynasty New York Islanders, where Mike Bossy handed off the trophy to Wayne Gretzky, which that started up his career. But Sidney Crosby has not handed over that torch yet. He's not close to being done. He just got off his second Stanley Cup win, his second MVP trophy. MVP trophy? No, I mean MVP of the playoffs trophy. Smythe trophy. Thank you, Owen. He just got off his second MVP playoff trophy. Okay. Even though he may have not been the best during the entire both playoffs, he showed up every final game. He was the guy. There is no denying every time he steps out on the ice, he is the best player. It doesn't matter who you put up against him. He is the definite best player. But is Connor McDavid that yet? He doesn't have the stature. He doesn't have the Stanley Cups, the MVPs, even though he did win the Most Valuable Player award this past NHL season with the most points. He did help the Edmonton Oilers. He isn't that yet. I do see him being the next one. But Sidney Crosby is the best in the world. There is no denying that. There is no way. I think the NHL is rushing passing the torch too quickly. I don't think they should pass the torch to the second best player in the world, Connor McDavid, for a few years, tops 3 years, because Sidney Crosby ain't going nowhere. Knock on wood. Please don't let it be. He is the best player in the world. He has 3 Stanley Cups, 2 in the last 2 years. He wins Art Ross's every year. It's like loose change to him. And I think the NHL is changing and putting Connor McDavid in this spotlight is because they know he is the next one, and how he had 100 points, and that's the first time in a while how we've had 100 points. Even though it was a more diluted style of game point-wise in the NHL this year, there was more scoring throughout the league, but not high enough scores. He had 70 assists, 30 goals. Crosby, was he second in the league? He did win the Maurice Richard the Rocket Trophy, which is incredible for Sidney Crosby, even though he already does have one. Yeah, he already has one. which is incredible because it's Sidney Crosby. I'm not really surprised in the slightest. Sidney Crosby wouldn't. Here's my internal conflict. Sidney Crosby is the best player in the world. He is a for sure 80, 90 points. Easy, easy, easy money. But with the problems he's had in the past year with concussion issues, especially in this last playoff against the Washington Capitals, where he had 2 concussions, I don't want it to be a year where I pick him first overall and he breaks his jaw or gets a concussion and he's out for half the season. That totally screws my pool. And not only does it screw my pool, it screws hockey fans in general. Doesn't matter if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan or a Washington Capitals fan or an Arizona Coyotes fan. When that guy is in town, you're watching him with eagle eyes. He is the best player in the world. It doesn't matter what you say. You can yell at me for it, but I will yell at you back because there is no way in hell Connor McDavid is better than Sidney Crosby yet. And here is I'm playing devil's advocate now. Who would I pick first overall if I got the pick? I would pick Connor McDavid. see, see, I'm weird. See, that is my internal conflict here. I will pick him first overall. He is a definite. Who, if Connor McDavid went first overall and I had the second pick, I would, you know who I'd pick first overall? A second overall, I would pick Sidney Crosby, no doubt about it. Third overall, I don't know. It's off from there. There goes my hockey expertise. I know it's weird how Sidney Crosby is the best player in the world, but I would pick Connor McDavid first overall because I know with the effect of Leon Draisaitl, he is going to be absolutely bomb this year. He is going to be dynamite. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get over 110 points this year. Knock on wood. God dang it. I don't like talking about my favorite players like this. And I wouldn't pick Stamkos because, poor guy. Oh, poor Stamkos. Oh. If he does drop to the second round or nobody picks him because they're scared of injury, I'll pick him up. Why not? Why not? Why not? And goalies, probably if I got the first over goalie pick, I would pick Carey Price. There's no doubt about it. He's a definite every year. If I got to get the second goalie, it'd probably be Braden Holtby because Washington is always a surefire team for 50-plus wins, and he's usually the one getting all the starts. It's going to be an incredible season, and I'm going to be incredible at drafting my team. Non-forwards, 2 defensemen, and 2 goalies. We're still working out the details. It's tomorrow. Yeah, it's weird. I'm weird. But it's the way life goes. Am I right or am I right? My hockey pool. See, here are my reasons I would pick Connor McDavid first overall. 1, we already know he's going to be bomb. 2, he has Leon Draisaitl. They're going to be passing it up. They're going to be just going ham this year. You know it's going to be dynamite between them. 3, Edmonton, I think they're going to do really well this year. Knock on wood. Oh, I got the title of the podcast. There you go. Knock on wood, dang it. I don't even know if you can hear that. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I'm really hurting my hand with doing that. I'm sorry. The season's literally, it starts Wednesday. Habs' first game is Thursday. It's going to be a party tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we're going to get it up. First NHL games. What's the first NHL games? Let me check. Today, October 4th. The first games are the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Winnipeg Jets at 7 p.m. in Toronto. And then we got Battle of Alberta Flames versus Oilers, which is gonna... Oh my god! It's gonna be incredible, guys. And then we have the St. Louis Blues versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, who had the Ryan Reeves trade. Awful trade. Oh my god, that was awful. And then the Flyers versus Sharks. Kind of weird matchups. It's like out of division matchups. The only one that's totally awesome. There's two awesome games here. The Maple Leafs versus the Jets and the Flames versus the Oilers because they have some rivalries going on. And then October 5th, it's a my day on the highway. You got the Predators versus Bruins, Avalanche versus the Rangers, Capitals versus Senators, Coyotes versus Ducks, Wild versus Red Wings, Penguins versus Blackhawks, Flyers versus Kings. Oh my dear lord. And the game I've been waiting for 4 months since the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs this past year. Game 6. We're going to see the Montreal Canadiens in action against the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo. Yeah. It's going down. It's going to be amazing. This is going to be a fantastic season. Isn't it? Should I talk more about the guys that I want to pick? Rookies I would pick Nico Hischier because that guy looks bomb. I'd pick Brock Besser because that guy also looks bomb. That's probably the only guy I would pick from Vancouver. Yeah, poor Vancouver. Nah, I'm supposed to feel something for them because they're Canadian and like, meh. See, is that a thing? No, I guess there'd be a lot more hate. See, like Alberta versus Edmonton, like Edmonton fans wouldn't feel for Calgary fans. Toronto fans wouldn't feel for Ottawa fans. So, like, I'm trying to think. States. Would Arizona fans feel for Las Vegas fans? Or would Minnesota fans feel bad for Arizona fans? Does that make any sense? I think I'm going off on a limb here. I don't know what's going on. There's not much to talk about. I'm leaving. I'm gonna do a video on roster, my lineup predictions for the first Habs game of the season. I don't know if it's definite yet. I'm gonna do a YouTube video of that, and my next podcast is gonna be next Monday, and I'll have my thoughts on the entire first week of NHL play. Not first week, but first couple of days. First Habs game. Woo! First Hab games of the... Oh my god, it's gonna be incredible, guys. I'm going off. Rick and Morty. Morty, it's almost hockey season, Morty. Morty, come on, Morty. Morty, come on, Morty, come on. It's NHL hockey. Come on, Morty. Just sit down and watch some hockey, Morty. Morty. Morty, come on, Morty. That's all I got. That's my Rick Sanchez voice. Anybody who doesn't know what Rick and Morty is, why? What's wrong with you? I'm being serious. What's wrong with you? So that's been my podcast. Yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about. Again, I mean, there was a lot more to talk about this time, and I went on and on about Yager. Yager bombs. Is that a drink? I don't know. That should be a drink. That would be his signature drink, right? That would be his signature drink. The Yager bomb. Or Jagermeister. I don't know. There's different ways you can say Yager, and I'm done. It's around 9 o'clock. that I'm ending this podcast. It's 8:58. I'm going to go put it on SoundCloud and you're going to listen to it. Maybe if you got this whole way, almost a full hour into the podcast, I'm saying goodbye to you. I went from the shortest podcast to the longest podcast I've ever done. Wow-wee! Yeah, and I don't care if you got to this long because I love listening to my own voice. If you have any questions, if you have any questions, any Q&A questions, I will answer anything and everything you put on my Twitter, which is at RealBeautyMan, and my Facebook 3 Thumbs Up Podcast. I'm debating on whether or not to change the name or not. I don't know. There's some other podcasts on the podcast app on Apple that have 3 thumbs up, but I don't know. Maybe it's because there's 3 people. I really don't listen to it. I actually have 3 thumbs, so get over it. I love listening to my voice. You have been listening to me, Owen Beatty. Go check out my YouTube. Please, that'd be sick. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you've already seen my YouTube. Subscribe to that link to the bar on the left. Just click it. Click the notification button because I'll be posting a lot more this season. Expect a video after every game. I'm gonna try to pull the Steve Dangle and do one after every game this season. It's gonna be fun. I've had some fun here tonight, and I bet you haven't. Have a great night, everybody. Or if I'm just talking to you, you one lonely person. If you're lonely, be lonely with me. I'll see you next week, guys. It's NHL hockey season. Yay!